All right, so this is the first ever Two Dudes and Some Brews, where we wanted to go ahead and cover some of the E3 stuff that had happened. A lot of really cool titles coming out. A lot of disappointment as well, which we'll get to that. We decided game show or award show was our
guys coming out with what we think is the best and worst of things, as well as our favorite things and stuff.
And some more stuff.
And things of that nature. Mostly just stuff, and we're going to talk about some things.
We're going to do a lot of things right here today. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and start by, I guess we'll start about the pressers.
I guess we should probably just go in order of when they presented, so we'll start off with Microsoft.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to Sony. And so Microsoft was probably the most disappointing.
It wasn't as disappointing as Microsoft was last year.
Yeah, well...
but that's not a hard feat. It was still an alright press conference. They actually had good games this year. They finally did a price drop, so with the lesser hardware that it has, it's finally at the PS4's price. So
those of you that bought an Xbox One already, whoops.
Yeah.
Did they cut the gigs or something on it, or what did they do?
No, just dropped the price.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
They needed to do something, I think.
Yeah, clearly they weren't selling any, I guess.
Falling behind.
Well, I mean, they did announce a couple of cool things. The Master Chief Collection.
Yeah,
that I'm actually kind of excited for.
Halo, that's cool. And then Evolve looks really cool. And then its fantasy counterpart, the new Fable game, which is they're apparently like the same exact game.
You can play it. The big thing this year was co-op. And then being able to play as the bad guy. Yeah. Like, for some reason, it was...
There's 4-player co-op with the ability to be the guy that they're all fighting.
Yeah, for some reason, apparently a big request was, I really wanted... This goes back to, in the new Mario Party trailer, too. It's like, okay, well, you can be Bowser, and it shows you, aiming while you're dropping on, Mario characters. So it's just, I really think the co-op thing is what they were really pushing this year, which, it works. So, the new Gears of War, they announced that, too. Of course, Halo 5 Guardians, that's another one everybody's going to be looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Halo 5 Guardians. Anything Halo, I will always support.
Yeah, but it's Halo, Gears of War. It's the pretty standard Xbox things. The things that I thought were the most intriguing were Evolve and the really bizarre Sunset Overdrive game.
Yeah, the parkour, no skateboard, rollerblade, grinding.
Yeah.
Weird shell shading game.
It looks really fucking weird.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
It looks like it'd be fun as fuck though.
It's like it really reminds me of I don't know, maybe if you took the Tony Hawk game and gave him a gun or a rocket launcher and let the flood loose from Halo into the world.
Yeah, with comic book words boom when
and
you
pow.
Hit something. Yeah,
and pow. So Batman. So if Batman had shoes that he could rail slide on and parkoured more than he does, that would be this game. And there were weird monsters. I think that was the actual note, was weird monsters. I don't know what those things are. It starts from...
it starts from a energy drink that apparently starts an infection throughout the city and turns everybody into these weird mutants. And then you're like a parkour warrior that takes them out by building traps and shooting them and doing parkour and rail slides and shit.
There's a lot of parkour.
Yeah, it's a heavily parkour-focused game.
All right, so other than that though, Microsoft really didn't blow me away.
Yeah, they were.
I'm sure we'll get.
They were decent. If you're a fanboy of Microsoft, it was probably a pretty good press conference with Halo and Gears of War and Fable and all that.
I guess.
But pretty out of effort for the most part. Yeah,
it really was.
It was a good warm up to the two big press conferences that I thought were both much better.
I really feel like I'm sure we'll catch, flack for it too. Yeah. Probably somewhere in the comments or something. But you know what? Fuck you. Your conference sucked. So,
but if you do disagree, leave a comment that says, "Hey, I'm a fucking idiot." So.
Yeah, don't please, because I have to check those. I don't want to go through your stupid comments. Yeah. So
leave a comment, flame the shit out of his channel, basically.
All right, so let's just leave Microsoft behind. We'll come back. We'll touch base with Microsoft in a second here. Let's go to Sony.
Yeah.
Sony, I was genuinely impressed with.
It was
a lot of shit.
It was a extremely long press conference.
Yeah.
What was it, about 2 hours?
I think it's still going on, actually, now. It's still going on right
They're
this
closing
second.
it down right now.
Yes, it's really weird. They had to actually make people leave.
3.5 day long press conference.
The odor in that room was unfucking bearable.
Yeah.
So,
but no, their actual press conference was really good. It started off much like the way Nintendo did their whole press conferences, with just a barrage of trailers. Then they just started talking about the hardware, and it got pretty boring for a while. And picked it up obviously with the big Uncharted trailer at the very end of it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, is that going to be the last in the line? That's got to be the last.
Yeah, because what it was called
the Thief's End. Thief's End. So I assume that's probably the end of Nathan Drake.
Nathan Drake is probably going to die in the new game.
Or not, and then he's just gonna come back
as
in some fighting PlayStation
game. You're gonna be solely in the next Uncharted game. So
there's that too.
Look forward to that.
Little Big Planet 3.
That game
Holy
was fucking
shit!
awesome.
Yeah, damn. Like, what do you say about a game that has open source content like that people create? You know?
I mean, it was already 1 and 2 were already really impressive how far they pushed how much you can do with building a game, and then 3 they just added a fucking million new features to it.
And like in the I don't know if you caught on like the floor and stuff, like where they were doing like all the showings and stuff, like all these little things. Just like the amount, and we were telling me earlier too, is you can actually switch the older maps into the newer.
Yeah, so the millions of maps that people have already made in Little Big Planet 1 and 2 will be playable in Little Big Planet 3 on the PlayStation Network. And they mentioned something about it being upscaled to current gen graphics, so they're going to probably have some sort of algorithm that redoes the textures for it, make it look a little prettier, so that's nice.
That's speaking of algorithms, we can jump into that as well. Is that a little too soon for that? Want to hold on to that?
I don't know what
you don't know what I'm talking about?
No,
okay, well, this is awkward. Just like, what's that indie game that we were trying to talk about?
No Man's Sky.
No Man's, yeah, that. No Man's Sky.
Pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's.
While we're still talking about the Sony press conference,
we're talking about algorithms. Yeah. That's what I was trying.
They've created an infinite game. If you didn't see the trailer, if you do, check the links below. It looks pretty badass.
Yeah. It's
basically everybody that starts a guy on it, you're going to start on a new world that nobody else has even been to, and so it's going to be constantly creating new worlds, just all the fucking time. Every time somebody gets on and starts a new guy.
Yep.
And you're going to seamlessly have the ability to explore and do shit on that world, and then fly into space, do space battles, whatever.
Do some space shit.
Yeah.
Land on another planet.
Do cool space stuff, and then land on another planet, and just keep going forever. Like, the game does not stop.
And it's really interesting to me. I noticed, if you watched it closely, it'll say something like a new species discovered. Yeah. It shows like this like massive dinosaur walking or whatever it is. And it's really interesting to me how the game will render it. Like, they'll just change the colors, basically, of a lot of the stuff. Like, this world will have this purple grass stuff with this little light hue in it. It'll change it just slightly from world to world. And, like, the amount of... It's endless. It would never end. Like, that's phenomenal.
And that game was a big thing of what Sony's pushing right now, which is indie games. Yeah. They apparently, from what they made it sound like, they made a deal with Devolver... makers of Broforce and Hotline Miami and other such classics like that, where Sony is going to be working with them to where they're going to be releasing their entire back catalog on the PlayStation Network.
And if you haven't played either of those games, you should get on Steam right now.
Yeah, which if you don't have gaming PC or anything like that, it's coming out on PS4. So so check it out. It's pretty badass.
And and back to the creating the content stuff, the community content, and I totally just blew past it because I was really disheveled with Microsoft's presser. They had that Project Spark, which I was going to hold that for later, but I really feel like I should probably mention that since we were in that right now. Project Spark looked really cool, and again, it's like one of those things where you could just create endless games. It has the look and feel of the I don't know if you're familiar with like the Skylander things or like the Disney Xfinity. Like the little thing that flies around, and you can just alter all this stuff. It really reminds me of that without the characters. So.
Yeah, it's definitely a creative concept.
It's a thing. Hopefully it'll be. The thing is if you want to get on, make a level. There were people making platformers. There were people making shooters. People making puzzle games. I guess it's really as complex as you want it to be.
Yeah. Because you could just keep it simple, just play through what they've already built for you, and just play it as a type platformer type game or something. But if you wanted to do more, you have that option. There's lots to do. The
creative content, I don't know, from what I understand, the creative content is supposed to be really, really nice.
Yeah.
But I didn't really get a whole lot about it. Again, I was really upset with that press conference.
Yeah, it was definitely a good warm up. But I feel like especially having that first slot, they should have just came out guns blazing, AAA titles right away.
That would have probably saved them a lot of trouble. And then they could have just been like, and we're in another part of the blast. That could have been the end of it.
One of the really cool things they did talk about in their press conference, it's not a Microsoft exclusive, but they did talk about there is Star Wars Battlefront 3. Which everybody's been waiting for almost 10 years now.
Yeah, it's been a really long damn time, hasn't it?
It's in very, very early stages, so they really only showed some environments, the engine that they're working on. But what they showed looks fucking amazing.
The best thing about it is they have people that are going to the actual movie archives. Yeah. They're going to the prop stuff. They're actually looking at stuff from the movie, locations, everything, and they're rendering it all into this game, and it looks like it is ridiculously awesome. I don't really want to get my hopes super far up, but hell, how can you not? If you watch the trailer, we'll put it down there in the little link section. It's beautiful. Just all the stuff from the forest, it'll cut from a shot of the forest right to the in-game graphics, and that's using is that the Frost?
Yeah, Frost engine.
Frost engine, that they're using on that, and it's just it's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's definitely a good one. But yeah, so back to Sony.
Yeah, back to Sony. The big focus that Sony, like I was saying, was indie games. They had this giant indie montage. And really, they're really pushing some of their exclusive features and exclusive content. Because even for multi-platform games, such as Destiny, which we'll talk more about later, that was one of the big games of the show.
That's definitely a big one.
Destiny's getting a timed exclusive release on PS4. They're getting exclusive access to the beta if you own a PS4. And there's going to be some exclusive content, exclusive missions, and things like that for PS4 users. And then there's the thing that I thought was maybe the most interesting thing I saw at E3 was a feature they talked about that they're going to have available in Far Cry 4 for the PS4 version.
Riding an elephant.
Yeah.
I agree. That blew my mind.
Yeah. No, it's the ability to co-op on Far Cry 4 even if you don't own the game. So, let's say me and James both have PS4s.
Yep.
I have Far Cry 4, he doesn't. He can still jump on and play with me.
Which is really cool, because I remember the big thing last year was Sony taking shots at Microsoft constantly, just about the whole, if you want to share a game, on the PS4, this is what you do. And he hands him a copy of the game, and the guy's like, thanks. And that's the end of it. And the big thing was you couldn't share between Xbox One games.
So now you don't even have to own the fucking game on PS4.
Yeah,
you just play with somebody that is on your friends list.
But what's, and to give credit to where it's due as well, I feel like Mario Kart, I'm pretty sure if it's the one on the 3DS, you don't have to have a physical copy of the game either. You can join over Wi-Fi with somebody else that has the game online and then just start playing it. Yeah,
that's pretty badass as well,
right? Yeah. So, but yeah, and then not to mention, we'll talk later about this too. But the PS TV,
the PlayStation Now with PlayStation TV coming later seems really, really cool. We'll get into a more hardware section, but
that was definitely cool,
that was maybe the most interesting part of their presentation, and one of the big announcements. If you've been a long-time gamer, if you're not brand new into the gaming scene, especially PC, a lot of people went absolutely apeshit when PS4 announced that they are doing an HD remaster of Grim Fandango, PC classic. So that'll be really interesting. And I don't have a PS4, but they said it will release on PlayStation Network for PS3 and PS4. So I'm still gonna play the shit out of that shit.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, like, I don't know, like, Sony just really just laid it on thick, too. And, of course, you know, like, the Metal Gear trailer, which, if you haven't seen the Metal Gear trailer, please stop watching this and go watch that, because it's amazing.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. That's not a PlayStation exclusive, though.
I don't think it's actually a PlayStation exclusive.
It was presented during Sony's conference, but I believe it's multi-plat.
I think it is a multi-plat, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I do know that it looks freaking awesome.
It's actually coming out for PS3 and 360, as well as PS4 and Xbox One.
And I'm betting they're going to chalk some extra crap on the Xbox One and the PS4 one. That seems to be what they're doing to get people to get the newer consoles
as well
to move
as higher res, better textures.
Right, well, absolutely. If that's not a reason, if you didn't see any of the trailers this year, like, holy shit, they turned the knob up on that and then ripped it off, because it's just beautiful. Everything is beautiful.
Very cinematic trailer. You always want to see gameplay, but it was a good, nice release.
I always feel like Metal Gear is always a cinematic.
Well, actually, considering more than half of that game is just.
Yeah, I mean, like, of course, there's like.
It's fitting that the trailer is no gameplay, because there's almost no gameplay in the game.
It's all. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I remember playing it's like the spy espionage, type of game, and like I remember just playing through them all, and it seems like they're more and more of just kind of went into more of a cinematic style, but the gameplay's still there.
Oh yeah.
What gameplay they do have always seems really honed, very very well done. Like they didn't mess around on it or just skimp on it to do really nice on a cinematic or anything.
And then just in closing with Sony's, a couple other cool things we saw is trailer for this new game Bloodborne.
Oh my gosh,
they didn't announce whether or not that's an exclusive. But
I don't even know what that is, and it looks amazing.
It looks really cool. The theories most people have is that it's going to be along the same lines as Dark Souls and Demon Souls.
It looks ridiculous.
Sort of like a very, very gory slasher. And then they finally released a gameplay trailer for The Order, which looks really cool. Usually that type of horror shooter kind of game, a la Resident Evil. Not such a huge fan of that, but it did look really cool. So
absolutely. I feel like that covers Sony pretty well.
We'll sort of get into Nintendo, which
wow.
If you have attention deficit disorder, this was the press conference for you.
This was the one to watch. I really feel like Nintendo knew what they wanted to do. They wanted to crack some jokes. They threw in a couple of shorts in between, which you haven't watched the press conference. You should watch it. They've got this robot chicken esque sort of insert thing going on through a couple of them, which is really weird.
They got robot chicken. They got Nintendo executives fighting each other.
Yeah, because that's
they got Ice-T.
There's an Ice-T me fighting in Smash Bros. It's really Elijah Wood's in that too. I forgot to mention that. It was really weird.
I have some stats here. The Nintendo press conference was actually only 3 minutes long.
That's true.
They showed 61 different trailers.
Within 3 minutes, you are absolutely correct. Let me see. Microsoft was an hour and a half. Sony was an hour and
I want to say it was pushing 2 hours. It was getting close. I think it was 150.
And then Nintendo comes with this 45-minute Nintendo Direct, which it was a couple of gag reel things, and then it was game after game after game after game. Yeah. And the thing about Nintendo that really just kind of blew me away, was they're like, okay, well, we're going to announce this Yoshi title. Oh, you think it looks like Kirby? The old Kirby game? Okay, here's a new Kirby game. Oh, you don't want to play Kirby in this? Here's Smash Brothers again. Yeah. Oh, you didn't want to play as Kirby because he's too round? Guess what? Here's Pac-Man, bitch. There's just what the hell? It was game after game. And then, holy shit.
And it was the titles every Nintendo fan's been asking for.
Yeah.
New Smash Brothers. 2 new Zelda games.
Yeah.
New Star Fox game. New Kirby game. I mean, it was...
It wasn't the crazy third-party games that we all expected when we bought our Nintendo Wii's, if you did buy one. But it's the ones that make us come back to Nintendo, the ones that we all enjoy.
It's really the real reason you get Nintendo.
But yeah, I didn't buy a Nintendo to play Assassin's Creed, but you get
Nintendo for Zelda, Mario, Metroid, Smash Brothers, things like that. So. And it was definitely cool to see nearly all of Nintendo's franchises out there, especially Star Fox making a return.
Right, no, absolutely, and that was kind of out of left field. I didn't expect a new Star Fox, to be honest with you.
I never expected it to happen because it seems like for the last 8 or 9 years, every E3 there's a rumor about a new Star Fox game. Since even before the Wii came out, they were talking about a new Star Fox game for it. And then we finally got our Star Fox game this year, so
that's really cool too. And I mean, like, I don't know about you, I don't know if you played the original, but I'm like way too excited about Bayonetta 2. Absolutely love how ridiculous that game is. If you have not had a chance to play through Bayonetta, you'll get a chance. It comes bundled with the actual second one, I believe. That's going to be the thing it's released with, is both games, one box, and apparently you can unlock Nintendo costumes. And in the trailer, it shows her at the very end, like, dressed all scantily as, like, Link, and then Princess Peach, and then at the very last one is Samus. And you're like, the fuck? What is going... Like, from the first game? You're like, that's kind of weird, but alright. But it's really cool. Bayonetta's a really cool game. It's got a lot of fun aspects to it. No pun intended. The Nintendo also announced something we're going to touch on later in the hardware portion of this, is the Amiibos.
Yeah, which looks really cool.
It's a really cool concept, and I think that they're really banking on the whole... I'm going to go back to Skylanders again, because that thing raked in a ton of money. These things are like $14 a piece, you know, and they're just little figures that you sit on this thing that has a chip that reads it, and then it puts them into the game. Yeah. So if you have a Nintendo Wii U, there is a section over on the side here, which is a little square, which is where the actual chip is. The figures are put right on top of it, and apparently it sends them straight to the video game. So that gives them straight into Smash Brothers. Yeah, so if we're having a fight, and I'm like, I want Link, I just grab Link from wherever the hell I'm going to put all my Nintendo action figures. It's going to make this look like a child's room at that point, I think.
Already does.
And, very true. So I'm going to put him right on top of this. It's going to summon him to the game. They actually build stats. That's the part I thought was kind of cool. So Link's health can, I guess, increase. He holds different, increased stat things. You can train with them to make them stronger. I don't know. I thought it was kind of a cool idea.
Definitely a neat concept.
Yeah, it's definitely going to make me broke. So that's what I always look to Nintendo for, is making me poor.
Yeah.
So good job, Nintendo. I thoroughly enjoyed the presser, and there's a lot of stuff we're going to touch on that as well.
So that was just a kind of a wrap up of the press conferences. Best press conference? I mean, I think we both know which one was both of our least favorite. Yeah. Which was Microsoft. It wasn't a terrible press conference, but it didn't pack the punch Nintendo and Sony did. For best press conference, though, I would give it to Sony, because the theme of it was their innovation. It's why they're leading the new console war, the current generation, because they're innovating with services like PlayStation Now, PlayStation TV, and really putting everything into indie gaming, which, if you've been on the PlayStation Network recently, you see the impact that indie gaming has had on PlayStation. So I would go with Sony.
And obviously, I'm definitely going to go with Nintendo. They came out with guns blazing, and that console hadn't been doing so hot. They released Mario Kart 8. That helped sales, obviously. But now I really feel like, now that they've got a ground, that the console's been grounded for a little bit, now they can really just excel and take off.
Especially because pretty much every Nintendo franchise is coming out within the next year or so.
And it's, and I'm not even, like, it was crazy. It's just one after the other, and that really blew me. I didn't expect that.
Two Zelda games.
Right, two fucking Zelda games, and then Ice-T. I can fight with Ice-T and Elijah Wood. I'll make my own Miis. Yeah. So I want to ask you a question. So if you had a Wii U, and you could make any character you want, who would you make, and why?
Eli Porter, probably because he's the best.
Would you make that his thing?
I would probably, I would.
Like his winning bubble would be like, I did it.
I did it. Yeah. So Eli Porter would probably be my guy.
That's pretty solid. I like that.
He's the best.
He is the best. You can't beat him.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. I guess now we're just going to move on down. There were a shit ton of trailers between all 18 million conferences, other than just the main three that we're talking about.
Even just aside from just gameplay trailers, all the new games announced, there's a lot of good cinematic sort of teaser trailers. A couple big ones in that category. Obviously, the big one from Sony, Uncharted, which looks like it's going to be their last one. Don't really see any action. You kind of hear Nathan and Sully talking to each other. So it's just there to get the fans pumped up. New Doom trailer.
Yeah, that
fucking bad.
That looked really good. Yeah. I love Doom, and that particular style of, I guess, like on a PC, it's more of like a Twitch shooter, maybe, like kind of like Quake and all of those. And I
Which
really
definitely if you're gonna get the new Doom, get it on PC.
Well, yeah, hands
if,
down.
If you're gonna get a first-person shooter, you have to play it on PC, especially if it's Doom.
Right, yeah, I really feel like it's kind of an injustice to not play it on PC, but I mean, it is. I mean, people, if they don't have a PC,
if you don't have access, if you're not part of the PC master race, then
shame on you.
Yeah, then, fuck, that sucks.
That's don't tell you. But yeah, no, that was a good one. Like again, like the Star Wars Battlefront trailer was freaking amazing.
It's good to see the environments.
Destiny.
Destiny.
Shit.
Blew up the whole fucking show.
Yeah,
there was. I mean, you had to expect that. It's coming out really soon. It's a new Bungie project. Getting away from Halo. Totally new franchise. There was no shortage of Bungie footage.
No.
Bungie gameplay mechanics.
No.
And just the things you can do in Destiny. The co-op modes. Just. It looks fucking badass.
And not to mention just the some of the additional features like you were talking about, which we should probably touch base on at some point. I mean, just the multiplayer footage alone looks so freaking amazing, and it's so beautiful. Everything looks like
co-op story mode, single player story mode, multiplayer matches. I mean, that's another game again focusing towards the whole social community aspect. Very focused on community. Its main selling point is its co-op campaigns and co-op matches online.
I remember I was watching an interview and they were talking about it, and they said that they wanted to make another 10-year game. Yeah. Basically like Halo. It was a 10-year franchise. I mean, it's still going. Yeah. They wanted to do it again, and they really wanted to wipe the slate clean and start with something fresh. And this is their shot at it. And I think that I think they're going to do it, man. Like, I really do. This game looks really good.
From everything we've seen so far, it looks like it could be the next big AAA title, right along the lines of Halo. Those titles that always just when they come out dominate the sales. Halo, Call of Duty, Gears of War.
It always seems like it's the same ones too, and they're pushing something.
Because when it comes out when it's new, it's just such an innovative title, which it looks like Destiny's going to be that.
Right.
So
I don't know. Let's just. I can only hope for the best on that. I think it's going to be fantastic. A couple of gameplay trailers that were really interesting. The Division was really interesting. I did not...
shit, actually.
Now, here's the thing. Was that a whole bunch of people playing together?
From what I...
Because the voice chat sounded so staged, I couldn't get past that.
I think a lot like the Rainbow Six trailer, it was real gameplay. Mm-hmm. It was real chat, but it was a staged scenario. Because if they just did some just random live take... they might fuck something up, maybe hit a button.
Yeah, and that's what I was wondering. Like, she jumped and missed that rocket, and I was like, "There's no freaking way!"
So I definitely think the footage that we saw was real, but it was stage set up. They wanted to present it a certain way. So, and
it still looks good. Don't get me wrong, it looks fantastic. I'm really excited for it too. There were some really cool. It's Tom Clancy, isn't it? Tom Clancy's. Yeah. So, what's really cool about that is I saw a lot of Future Soldier in it. And I don't know if you actually had the chance to play Future Soldier. It seemed really interesting. Some of the grenades you could throw that reveal locations. There's a lot of random stuff like that. It was really cool looking, and of course the cover system looks like it's crucial, as in any Tom Clancy game, I assume.
Which, speaking of Tom Clancy games, can't not talk about Rainbow Six.
Absolutely.
It's been a
long while.
6 years since Rainbow Six Vegas 2?
2011 they showed footage of what I think this turned.
So anyway, it's been a while since Rainbow Six game came out. A lot of people didn't like the Rainbow Six Vegas games because they sort of went towards that more Call of Duty Battlefield-esque sort of less cover, less strategy kind of games, which is really Rainbow Six's signature. This looks like it's going back to when Rainbow Six was first coming out on PC and N64.
Right.
When it was really all about the strategy. If you get shot, you're dead.
There's no...
It's not, let me spray this guy with bullets for 15 minutes and he'll just spray me back.
Yeah.
It's
I'm kidding. I can tell you love getting sprayed by guys. That's awesome.
I love spraying dudes all the time, but...
I really feel like if I were a professional, that's what it'd be.
Definitely. It looks like it's going back to the strategy, working with a team. I mean, the trailer, obviously, like we were saying, it looks staged, but you can tell what the mechanics are. In the trailer, they had a situation where there was a team of people taking somebody hostage, and then there was a team of people trying to rescue the hostage.
Right.
And you basically had to strategize how you were going to win that fight, and it just, I mean, aside from the gameplay being back to where it used to be, the fucking particle physics in that game.
Oh, yes, you are not kidding.
Oh my god, when they were shooting the walls and just the lighting of that game, if that was totally legit gameplay, fuck.
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy.
And it's really interesting if they bring in like the whole hostage scenarios and stuff. Like, say there's a mode, it's just like instead of capture the flag, there's capture the hostage, whatever the fuck, I don't know. So you capture somebody, and at that point, like, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. I mean, if you're taking a shot and the guy just moves, if you nail the hostage, that could be like game right
Over,
there.
yeah.
So I mean, that's a really cool kind of aspect to add to it too, if they decide to go that route, which I think they probably will.
Because like it showed in the trailer, the team that had the hostage was using the hostage as cover.
Right.
So obviously you don't want to shoot in that vicinity.
Right.
Because you're going to kill the hostage and fail the mission. So.
But in the same sense too, there's like 600,000 ways to get around into the room or wherever you're trying to get to. So there's that looks like it's going to be fun. I really think that's going to be a good.
That was definitely an exciting game. And while we talk about the Division, Rainbow Six, while we're talking about Ubisoft. Let's talk about the most depressing fucking thing I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
Their new game, Valiant Hearts.
That trailer, I'm not trying to make this weird. That's really probably the closest I've been to tears listening to somebody talk and sound just emotionally distraught.
Yeah. You have to watch to believe it. I mean, it's going to be down in the links. It's a brief synopsis. It's going to be a World War I. Sort of story game,
right?
Following just the character development of 4 main characters and their dog, and
from the trailer, you're led to believe none of them make it. So you got that like Reach vibe from right off the bat. You're just like, okay, none of these fuckers live.
Like, right away, you're like, okay.
And it's just this like dog whimpering. And that's the thing, dude. Like seriously, you could cut the fucking audio out of that and put that goddamn Sarah McLachlan song behind it, and it would bring you to tears. Because it's like a dog walking through trenches and passing dead bodies. And but it's cartoon style. So it's really weird. Like I don't know, and it still really hits you hard. It's just bizarre.
Basically. Yeah. If you want to cry watching a game trailer, it's gonna be down in the links. Valiant Hearts. It was definitely one of the better cinematic trailers that was in the. And they showed, I believe they showed a little bit of gameplay in the trailer.
The voiceover, the voiceover guy in that is just so damn heart wrenching. You're just like, it's terrible. It really is.
It's rough, man.
Now
that's deep.
What you need to do is, as soon as you watch Valiant Hearts, because I'm confident you're going to watch that and take time every day to watch that because it's amazing. On a serious note, it's amazing. You should go ahead and watch my pick for best trailer. I'm going to go with Real Fishing Masters Challenge for the PS Vita.
That was actually an extremely compelling trailer. It's a heartwarming story. A tale about a father and a son.
If you're not familiar with how these fishing games work, there's no fucking story to it. You just toss like a fake lure in this pond and stuff. And it starts with it's like a minute and a half worth of this guy telling a story. You think you're in an RPG, like shots over a lake. And then it cuts to the shittiest.
It's playing the most peaceful, serene music. Different seasons over this lake. Everything's beautiful. You get this nice font saying all these sentimental things about all the things my father taught me. And then it's a weird ass fucking music. You see these fish like wiggling around,
flopping out of the water in slow-mo.
It is definitely. It was not at any of the major press conferences.
No.
Obviously, because handheld fishing games isn't a huge market out there.
Right.
But
it was definitely interesting.
One of the best trailers at E3, if only for comedic value.
It was
fucking amazing.
And it's the only way I stumbled upon it. I was just looking on the site, just trying to make sure we covered everything. And I saw that, I was like, "The hell's that?" And I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, that's definitely going in there."
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. It's right underneath Valiant Hearts. You should definitely look that up as well for a laugh, because you're gonna fucking need it after watching.
And if you're still depressed from Valiant Hearts, definitely check out the Dead Island 2 trailer.
Phenomenal.
That was another one of the better cinematic non-gameplay trailers. I mean, the crew from Dead Island, they know how to make trailers. Obviously, when the first one released, it had that just extremely depressing reverse cinematic trailer of that little girl being thrown out the window. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And then
So they went a different direction this year.
Completely different direction. It was the campiest, just most bizarre fucking trailer. I don't want to give too much of a description. Just watch it.
And then watch it in reverse.
Yeah, there is a reverse version of it. Somebody thought they were clever, did that because of the first Jedi.
Yeah, it's actually really funny.
It's pretty funny. It's really bizarre.
I can tell you, do you want to go ahead and talk about maybe where that one takes place? Because that's a good one to touch on for a second, too.
Yeah, it looks like...
it's California.
It's definitely California,
Yeah.
or something based on California. Venice Beach, Los Angeles.
Yeah, somewhere down in there. So, it definitely looks like it's going to be cool, though. I'm pretty excited about that one as well. So, I mean, like, if you had to go with a best trailer, we threw everything in a hat. You have anything else you want to add to it?
Best trailer, I mean, especially if we're going just cinematic, I gotta give it to Valiant Hearts.
Yeah, I'm not probably have to agree with you on that. That was,
I mean, they did show a little bit of gameplay, I think, but just the cinematic quality of that, I mean, it looks like it could be a movie and work.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a game that's being released soon, so that's gonna be an interesting one to watch.
Yeah, and I'm really interested. I like that,
By the way, as far as single developers press conferences went, some of the major ones, EA, Ubisoft fucking killed it.
Yeah, hands down.
Their press conference was, it was along the levels of Sony and Nintendo. It was like you got that excited for their games.
And they're just really they seem genuinely excited too, man. Like they really do. They seem like they're just ready to start pumping stuff out too. And that's how I know I get excited to pump stuff out. So I feel like
all the time, dude.
Yeah, so they're just totally on the same boat,
just
right?
pumping stuff out all the time.
That's why you're here. I knew if I could count on anyone to pump something out, it would be you.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, as soon as this video wraps up, me and James are gonna go pump some stuff out.
We're gonna pump out a lot.
Oh yeah.
So now we're gonna jump into most anticipated. This is gonna cover a lot of shit. There was tons of games to pick from. We tried breaking it down by certain categories, and I mean, hell, even then it was still really hard.
Yeah,
just
even
to
then,
pick
it's
stuff.
just the quantity of games at the C3. It was definitely bigger than last C3. Last one the focus was definitely more on the new consoles that were coming out. This one, the current generation is here now. It's all about the games that are coming out for those systems now. So
definitely,
it was a huge flood of games. If we're going overall, The Witcher 3 looked really, really awesome.
Yeah, I was super excited about that. Another thing, too, is I just really didn't have a frame of reference when I saw that. I have not played any of the Witcher games.
Little background here. Me and him have never played the other Witcher games.
Yeah, and I want to play the shit out of the third one.
It looks fucking awesome.
I want to stab a griffin.
I want to hunt griffins.
I want to hunt griffins. I want to beat people up. Yeah. And, I mean, it was just
cut
really...
arms off.
And the thing about it, too, is, I really felt I don't know, it's really interesting to me how, if you watch the gameplay trailer, when the guy takes the swings, whenever he actually strikes something, the camera would jerk with it, and it would just make it feels really intense.
Yeah, it makes it almost like you experience the intensity, the impact of the hit. It's really
it's really cool.
Awesome.
Definitely that was good.
So I mean, if we're talking about RPGs, that as far as gameplay, that was the big one that stole the show.
Yeah,
Fable 3 was there. Or what is it? Fable 4?
Fable.
What is it called?
Legends.
Fable Legends is what it's called.
Yeah,
it's not having a number this time.
Yeah, I don't think.
Fable Legends was there, which it probably will end up being a very good game.
Right.
I've learned from especially the first two Fables. Do not get your hopes up for Fable.
Yeah, that's a thing.
They promised the best game ever. Really, it's a pretty good game though. But Fable was there. Witcher 3 was there. Very little was told about Mass Effect 4.
But damn.
The fact that that's coming out.
That's a thing that's happening.
Is amazing.
And I really, it's funny too, I really wondered what the hell they were going to do after 3. And the guy was, they seemed genuinely excited to start a whole new, new story for everybody. Different planets, different people, just all brand new. I'm sure they'll link together, if you have data from any of the games. I'm sure they'll incorporate that somehow.
And it seems like one of their big focuses is more exploration.
Yep.
So I hope they take let's turn it into Star Trek, which is basically what it is, kind of. But just exploring all those new worlds, and hopefully they throw in some new races, some new things you see.
That would be cool.
And I mean, as long as they keep that multiplayer that they built in Mass Effect 3,
right?
I would be stoked because that was my shit.
I mean, and while we're talking about that too, let's just go ahead and jump into Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah.
That looks great.
Very impressive trailer.
Yeah. I'm not a huge Dragon Age fan. I know that is probably one of the larger titles too.
That's definitely one of the biggest Western RPGs these days. One of the biggest franchises. I was extremely disappointed when I played the first 2 Dragon Age games, but I think it's because of how much people hyped it up to me.
See, I enjoyed.
They seemed like fairly good games, but this new one, I mean, you see why it's called Dragon Age now. The trailer was just dragons.
Yeah, it was, and they're not like, they actually seem like they're actually kind of cool dragons. Yeah. And when I say cool dragons, if you want to wonder why I use the term cool dragon, look no further than watching a little game called Scalebound. And then you'll understand what I mean.
Yeah.
So, which was another mention, I think, at the Microsoft presser.
But so, yeah.
Don't get your hopes up for that. So, yeah, I mean, it looks really good, and I really feel like, and the thing that they've always done well is tell a story. And granted, like, I don't know, like in the first one, I didn't care for the first one all that much.
Yeah.
Second one, I was like, okay, they improved upon some things, but I can tell you this, man, like the dialogue that's spoken between a lot of those characters, I really fucking enjoy the dialogue.
Yeah.
I've always been a very story-driven person. Like, I like when there's a story to be told.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that's what they do good. So
I mean, they've always been good at that, just in all the games they've made. So
right, and I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but
so.
It's definitely a mention for RPG status there.
Yeah.
Another one, Tales of Xillia 2. I don't know if you haven't played the first Tales of Xillia, I don't know if you're going to be able to jump right into it or not.
Yeah.
But the Tales games in general are amazing. JRPGs probably at like their finest, in my opinion.
That is something that you don't see enough fresh RPGs these days.
Yeah.
Well, you don't see them in America anyway. I mean, they still pump them out. Yeah. It's just not what it used to be in America. So it's cool to see ones that look good coming out.
You've got like Atlas and you've got Square Enix and a couple. You know, you got like the main staple ones.
The big ones.
Yeah. It's just you're right. There's not a big change in that. Do you have any other ones to add to the RPG category? Or that pretty much covers a lot of the big ones, I think.
I mean, there's some other games that are sort of in between games that you could kind of consider.
Yeah, see, that's why I ran into an issue too. Because technically, you could count the one of the new Zelda titles.
Yeah.
It's open world,
the
action adventure RPG style.
We'll get into that when we talk about action
adventure.
adventure.
Trust me. yeah, we will.
I would definitely still. I mean, it's Zelda. You're going to consider that an action adventure game.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think for RPG, at least what I'm most looking forward to is obviously Mass Effect 4. But since there wasn't very much about it, there was maybe some textures shown and some ideas thrown around. I'm going to give Best RPG of the show to The Witcher 3.
Yeah, The Witcher 3 really took it to another level. And, I'm really torn between picking that and Dragon Age, but I really feel like The Witcher 3 trailer was just kind of like...
Because especially for somebody that's never even been a part of that series.
Right.
For a gameplay trailer to just pull me in and make me want to play it.
Right.
It looks really awesome.
Okay, so then let's go ahead and jump on down here. Let's go to the most anticipated shooter. Because holy shit, they decided to put out a lot of shooters this year.
Well, I mean, no surprise. Shooter is obviously the best-selling genre of games. It's
FPS games have really taken off.
First of all, let me go ahead and point out what I would definitely consider the worst shooter of the game, of the E3.
You mean the best.
The new Call of Duty game, which is very, if you haven't seen it, it's very clearly heavily inspired by Halo.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
I think they're calling it Call of Duty Combat Evolved.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I'm pretty sure that's what the title is.
It looks, I mean, it's Call of Duty, so the Call of Duty fans are going to buy it. They're going to play it, and it's going to have the same multiplayer mechanics.
That's always sad.
This one is in the future.
You have a mech now.
Yeah, you have mechs.
That's pretty cool.
You have laser guns. You have a bunch of technologies.
You got just like
you got boosters.
Of ridiculous. Oh yeah, the boosters. Don't jump off the ledge without a booster. Yeah. I got my boosters ready. You got your boosters ready?
Boosters are ready.
Shit.
But I mean,
when the fuck is that franchise gonna die?
But one of the big things, because the big first-person shooters that always battle each other are Call of Duty and Battlefield.
Correct.
If you look at the trailers compared to each other, the Call of Duty looks very last gen.
Yeah, it actually kind of does.
The people in the game look awesome.
Yeah.
The actual characters look fucking amazing. The facial movements, the player movements,
weapons and everything look like
weapons
shit,
and the environment look very PS3, Xbox 360. So I hope that is very early alpha footage. I hope that's not the game they're releasing this fall. If that is the case, They're still going to sell a million copies. They're banking off that name. But it was pretty disappointing seeing that trailer.
If you want to look for a frame of reference too, just look at any other trailer and then look at that.
Yeah, I mean, especially some of the shooters that came out. Look at Far Cry 4. That is one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen.
We're about to get there too on that.
The view distance in that game, the environments, the sound.
Yeah,
it is unreal.
Yeah, it's really
that
was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
It really was, and I feel like shit, dude, you can ride an elephant while using like an assault rifle.
Yeah, and it gives you the ability to jump in and out of co-op.
Yeah. Which is nice.
You don't have to do
You
don't have to do a co-op campaign and then also a single-player campaign. You can do a single-player campaign. Like, you know what? I need support on this mission. Let me jump in. So, I mean, some of the mechanics are really cool because Crytek's always been really, really good at the technical aspects. They've always really been the cutting edge for graphics, for environments, things like that. But to see them really upping it on gameplay features also is pretty impressive.
Definitely that, and I know we talked about Rainbow Six.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know, and it's really one of those things you've got to watch. You've got to watch that trailer to understand how amazing it is. And then Star Wars Battlefront, of course, talked about that. The Doom teaser, obviously.
It's a very short teaser. You basically see a character and you see the name Doom.
Yeah, that's enough to get your rocks off.
You get fucking hyped.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Another shooter though, sort of survival shooter, The Order. Finally saw the gameplay from it.
Yes.
Looks killer.
Awesome. Yeah.
Looks so
fantastic.
Awesome.
Man, it's just like I had a lot of them listed here, and I had a really hard time actually narrowing it down.
Yeah.
Obviously, aside from dropping Call of Duty, just because I feel like COD's kind of getting.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's all next gen now, but Call of Duty and Battlefield, they're going to be Call of Duty and Battlefield.
And I feel like I could say the same thing about Halo almost, but I really feel like they try to take strides.
The big difference though that Halo has is it has a compelling story.
Right, and you're absolutely correct.
I've never played Call of Duty and Battlefield. Yeah, it's all about the multiplayer, and the multiplayer is generally going to be the same game to game, with some improvements.
I think the last time I was genuinely attached to a storyline in Call of Duty was Call of Duty World at War, where they had the nuke go off when you're in the helicopter.
Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
That's what it was. Holy shit! Yeah, that was amazing. That was just badass.
That was the point when they really became what they are, and that was, give credit too. That was one of the best fucking shooters ever.
Yeah, that was phenomenal.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then it's just ever since then, I just feel like it's just.
But it's just been that game over and over. So.
Yeah. But the first time was amazing.
Yeah,
it's like when they first did it, it was like, oh shit!
It's completely unbelievable.
Overall shooter, do you have a preference?
It's tough. There's some that I'm excited about. I'm excited about Battlefront, Doom. Didn't see anything from them, so I can't say that they're the best of the show. Okay. So for me, it was really tough between Rainbow Six and Far Cry 4. I think I would give it to probably Far Cry 4, just because of that world that they've created.
You're right. It is beautiful.
I mean, I'm gonna play both. Rainbow Six, just bringing back that strategy is gonna be awesome. Mm-hmm. Just the intensity, you're on edge watching that trailer. It is awesome.
Yeah, it's really good.
But Far Cry 4, I think, looks very, very impressive. And I mean, you play Far Cry 2, Far Cry 3. I mean, they're beautiful games, and those look like shit compared to Far Cry 3.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It's amazing.
Did you ever play Far Cry 3?
Yeah.
I was going to say, one of the best things about that game, if you haven't played Far Cry 3, you totally should. Letting loose a tiger is pretty fun.
You can get on Steam for pretty cheap. So.
Yeah, it's really, and they're about to have a summer sale.
Yeah.
It's
almost broke time.
Yeah, it's almost broke time. I was going to say, it's almost time to not have money again. Yeah. I'm going to agree with you on that too. I really feel like Far Cry 4 was a really solid one.
And that would be one of my candidates for just game of the show also. Far Cry 4 was just extremely impressive.
For just overall?
Yeah.
Overall? Okay, we'll check that out.
We'll get to that when we get through some of the more categories.
Okay, so let's go ahead and jump down to action adventure.
Okay.
I went ahead and threw in. I've got to go with the damn Zelda game. You can pick which one.
What is the title of the open world Zelda game? Do you know?
I know. All I know is that right now I think it's just being registered under Zelda U. I think that's all it is. Just kind of with that same tradition thing that they do, where they just run it under that.
But that was the big.
It was beautiful. It really was.
Finally,
it was a beautiful
an open world a la Skyrim. type of game.
And that, like, there's a part where they just let it sit for a second, and you see this creature just way off in the distance, and it goes up, comes down, starts chasing chasing Link around, but presumably Link. I assume that's Link. You know, and then Yapon is there, and like he lifts up and he just destroys that bridge, and he just darts back around. Then he shoots like the laser arrow in his face or some shit. I don't know. It was amazing. Yeah. It was really cool. I'm excited about that.
Those definitely one of the ones I had. Even though it was just a teaser, action adventure, you have to mention Uncharted. It was just, I mean, Uncharted is essentially an action movie that you play.
Right, you're right.
So even though they showed nothing, just the fact that it was there
was awesome.
Also, the big one, the big AAA action adventure game of the most recent generations, the new Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, that is holy shit. That was a gory trailer too.
Yeah, very gory trailer. Some really awesome gameplay demos they had going on. You know, a lot of the games we've talked about, we've been talking about the graphics.
Yeah,
and this generation right now, this year, is really setting themselves apart from the PS3 360 generation.
Yeah. You're actually having a reason now.
And Assassin's Creed is a perfect example of that. You look at that game, you look at the facial animations when the characters are talking, you look at the crowds, the lighting, the view distance. Assassin's Creed is an extremely beautiful game.
That's definitely on my list too. One I want to throw in there, even though I don't know if it's technically action adventure, it's more of survival horror, which, you know, you read that however you want. The new Bethesda title, Evil Within.
Yeah.
That just looks freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I love survival horror. I'm a huge Silent Hill fan. I mean, any kind of game I can get my hands on like that. Fatal Frame, you name it. It's just, that game really looked, it reminded me a lot of Outlast. Which is interesting. There's you watch the gameplay? So when he's running from the guy with a chainsaw and he hides in the locker, there's a portion of, by the way, spoiler if you're not going to watch that. Nothing really exciting there. So you run from a guy with a chainsaw is basically what I got out of that. It looks like it's going to be good. I think it's really going to be good. And Bethesda usually does a great job.
I generally trust Bethesda.
Yeah. So if they wanted to go do a horror game,
and despite what happened at the C3, I still trust that Fallout 4 is on its way.
We got to get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
That's wow.
We'll get there.
They're not ready for that.
Let's keep going.
They are not ready for that. So so best shooter. Do you have anything else? Or shooter, best action adventure. Do you have anything you want to throw in there? I'm giving it to Zelda. I don't need gameplay footage. I'm gonna buy that shit.
It also depends on what you consider Star Fox.
Yeah, that's true.
I would probably consider it action adventure or shooter.
Definitely. Well, it's a little of both. Well, hell, I can consider Zelda a shooter too if I'm shooting a bow.
Yeah, but you do lots of other stuff.
Not as much as
But even if you put Star Fox in that category, I think you have to give it to Zelda. That is.
Yeah, it looks.
That is the clear cut. Despite everybody loving Mario, Zelda is the best Nintendo franchise.
Yeah, hands down. Even Hyrule Warriors. It looks cool. I want to play it.
It's definitely awesome that we got 2 upcoming Zelda games. But the new Zelda game is that takes it for me for action adventure.
I had no idea. Like, I hadn't looked into it enough. I guess I didn't know that Hyrule Warriors was a mashup between Dynasty Warriors and. So if you look at that, it's really interesting. You have 4 characters, I believe, so far that you can pick, which I'm sure they'll add more. If I can't fight as Tingle, I'm going to be really pissed. So you hear that, Nintendo? I want Tingle, and I want to be able to fight as him.
Oh yeah, Nintendo execs are definitely.
They're definitely going to watch this.
For sure.
They're watching it. You hear that, Miyamoto? Yeah.
Calling you out, bro.
Bitch. So that's definitely going to get my vote. Any of them, it doesn't matter. You can pick either Zelda game.
I would say the new open world Zelda game. It's definitely. I wouldn't say definitely. Assassin's Creed looks very impressive, but the new Zelda game I would probably put down as the best action adventure game.
Okay, let's go ahead and jump to. Do you want to do honorable mention real quick before we jump into best overall?
I think we should mention maybe fighters also.
Yeah, let's go ahead and chuck fighters in there because we got Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers, which Smash Brothers you can use, like we were saying earlier, the whole Eli Porter thing. You can make Miis and enter them into Smash Brothers. When they come out with the Amiibos feature, you're gonna be able to throw those into Smash Brothers, whichever figures you have.
Yep.
They added Pac-Man.
Yeah. So if you didn't have enough, so let's get this straight. I'm going to be fighting with, in a ring, I'm going to have Mario, I'm going to have Mega Man, I'm going to have Pac-Man, I'm gonna have all these Mr. Game & Watch, but let's throw him in there. Sonic's still there. It's like all these juggernauts.
Yeah, you look at the juggernauts that really were big competitors against each other in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, it's cool.
You can use them all in the same game now. Pac-Man, Mega Man, Sonic, Mario. I mean, as well as yourself.
Yeah, so, and on top of all that, yeah.
So Smash Brothers, the new Smash Brothers title, obviously looks really awesome. Finally we saw a couple weeks ago the cinematic trailer for the new Mortal Kombat. We saw a gameplay trailer at E3.
Yeah, let's talk.
So, the last Mortal Kombat game was good.
Yeah, no, it was good.
It was definitely no new characters though. It was all there was some new downloadable characters and things, but
it was more
it was all just kind of bringing the current gen, the Mortal Kombat characters we know and love. This one, the gameplay trailer, they show 3 new characters.
Yeah, and I don't even think
new levels.
Yeah. The actual fact that you can use the level to your advantage as well, like the breaking the branches.
Yeah, you can use the environment. I know some people are interested in is sidestepping. As I had a couple games ago. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think I do.
But we didn't see any sidestepping. It looks like it's going to be more of that kind of textbook classic Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, looks like you're going to have to keep playing N64 or go to an arcade.
Yeah, but it does look very good. Which, obviously, the 2 fights that they showed in the gameplay, obviously Scorpion versus Sub-Zero.
They fight in the trailer?
That's what they're going to show all the time.
What?
Yeah, and then the other fight they go to was 2 completely new characters. There's some crazy...
Yeah, the chick on the back of the guy was weird.
Yeah, first there's like a giant behemoth hulking dude with like a little girl on his back.
Yeah, that's normal.
Who does some of the attacks.
Yeah, and then there was the bug chick.
Yeah, and versus like a wasp lady.
Yeah, so the wasp lady.
It'll be cool. I mean, they both look like good characters that have like really unique sort of elements to them. So it'll be cool to see what other characters they come up with.
NetherRealm's done. I mean, like, I really like the fact they incorporated the environments. They're taking that, I think, too, from because they did what was their superhero game?
Injustice.
They took a lot of the environmental stuff. It looks like they're really starting to learn from all that stuff and incorporate it into what they know.
Sort of compiling the best features of their games.
And that's the way to do it. Like, seriously, that's the way to do it. And I mean, NetherRealm's come a long way from being, like Midway, like from back in the day. So I think I support them no matter what they do.
Yeah.
I really, what's interesting to me is like, since like Warner Brothers is like the publisher, then they had like Freddy Krueger in the one.
Yeah.
So what would be a really fucking weird, like, what if they had like Porky Pig?
Yeah,
just think through like some fucking Looney Tunes in there. Like, what about Mortal Kombat versus Looney Tunes?
And then like, what would be their fatalities?
I would pay so much fucking money for Mortal Kombat versus Looney Tunes.
Like, what would be Sylvester the Cat's fatality?
I think he would definitely. I feel like he would he'd shove you down and then like go to where that dog is. What's that, Spike or whatever his name is? And like the guy'd be on the ground like and then you go like bah, 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 bang on a pan and then like Spike would just chop their head off or something.
That seems like something that Mortal Kombat would come up with.
I'd love to fight somebody as Granny.
Yeah.
Like, am I the only one? Am I the only one who thinks that'd be? I think that'd be fantastic.
I think you are the only one.
Yeah. Well.
But speaking of the Warner Brothers
and the Warner
publishing title, the Mortal Kombat game, Mortal Kombat 10, is supposed to be released in conjunction with the new Mortal Kombat movie that's coming out next year. I have been waiting too damn long for a Mortal Kombat. Yeah, hopefully this time they make a good one. I think they will. Yeah, I think they can't afford to make a fucking another bad one. I mean. Seriously, no, like you don't understand. They can't afford it. They can't take. They can't take any more. They can't take a 16-year break and then make another bad one. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. Okay, we have people that are releasing web series that are 10 times better than any of the movies. Like if they fuck this up, they should just quit. All right. Enough about Mortal Kombat. So, fighter. What's the best fighter? What do you think? Fuck it. Shit, dude. I really want to say Smash Brothers, but damn it, the Mortal Kombat trailer is so like gritty and it's really good looking. I think I would go with Mortal Kombat. Yeah. Just because, I mean, most people are going to probably side with Smash Brothers. I'm a bigger fan of that classic Mortal Kombat gameplay mechanics. I've always kind of liked Smash Brothers, but it's always been kind of a mess. And just to see Mortal Kombat returning back to form.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they definitely improved on their last one. They had a period for a couple of years there where they were putting out some pretty shitty games.
Yeah.
And so their new one looks really awesome. It'll be cool to see another good Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah. It's, I think it's going to be fantastic. And, I mean, with that, I don't know. What else have we got here? We can do honorable mention. We can do, we also have biggest surprise. That's
Biggest surprise? Yeah, let's do biggest surprise.
Okay, let's check a couple of things out there, because there were a couple of things that did take me back, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. Obviously, I was blown away by, I had this for one of my funniest moments, but Toad has his own game now.
Yeah. So,
Like,
I mean,
he has a game.
They've given Wario a game, Luigi a game, Yoshi many games.
Yep.
Toad has a game.
It's Year of the Toad. Last year was Year of Luigi, it's Year of the Toad. I think this is the year that Toad's really gonna make a comeback.
Well, it's still Year of the Luigi.
I can't say that without laughing.
It's still Year of the Luigi, if only for the Mario Kart meme.
It is. It's been that weird, like, he had his whole year to, like, do this thing, and he didn't, and then, like, it ends, and he's like, alright.
And then, yeah.
Step out on this nerd.
Straight
That's
meme
interesting.
mugging.
Yeah.
Biggest surprise for me, because the reason this is the biggest surprise is because it was a complete fucking surprise, is that Grim Fandango
You're right.
is being remastered and remade for the PlayStation Network. That really came completely out of nowhere. I mean, that game came out in, what, 98, 99? And then out of the blue, I mean, it's generally considered by many one of the best PC games of all time. And then now, out of the blue, it's being remastered and remade. I mean, there was no indication whatsoever, no rumors or anything, no talk about that. And then now it's happening. And I believe they said it was being released this year.
Yeah, which is awesome.
So, yeah.
That's
going to be really awesome.
That was out of left field.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say one of my biggest surprises too was that trailer you showed me for the that car game.
Project Cars.
Yeah. That I was actually kind of taken aback watching that trailer too. That was really interesting, and the fact that you said that they've actually gotten hands-on time with these cars.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that really is going to make Project Cars an interesting game, to hopefully set itself apart from the likes of Gran Turismo and Forza, which are usually the big car sims, is Project Cars really spent years on this game. They've been working with almost every car that's in the game to get the mechanics of each car down, the physics of each car, the sounds of each car.
Yeah.
They tested these cars on dry roads. They tested them on wet roads. They put these cars through the conditions.
Awesome.
So it'll be really interesting to see how the physics differ when they actually got their hands on all these cars. Because a lot of times, Gran Turismo, Forza, and they'll be able to test these cars. I mean, but they'll put, they'll get a few cars, maybe modify some of the sounds and put them all on the same tracks. Project Cars has gone way into detail,
right?
And I mean, you see the when you take the driver's view, every car has a unique dash.
Interior,
it has the exact cool interior that the actual cars have.
Yeah.
It is a very, very detailed game.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a good one for best surprise.
Yeah, that was I didn't expect that. I mean, and then let's just go ahead and throw it in there too. I mean, I expected the Zelda title. I expected one.
I expected them only to elaborate on Heroes of Hyrule.
Yeah.
Because they'd already announced that.
Yeah.
Sort of their more action-y, more fast-paced, sort of, I wouldn't say slasher, but sort of that type of game.
Yeah, it's
sort of
not
take them out.
Yeah.
Sort of. So I just expected maybe more expansion on that. We would see a new Zelda game further on down the line, a couple of years, but
no.
But no.
Nintendo said fuck that and released the freaking. I guess that's kind of like an alpha footage sort of thing. It's probably really early still.
And I mean, and then you got your pleasant surprises, things that I think we all expected, but we were glad that they happened, like the Xbox One price drop.
Yeah,
because one of the things you like as a gamer is always having the really close race between consoles, and I think at the beginning of last generation, it wasn't close.
No.
Xbox 360 was killing it.
Yep.
And then they caught up, and that's when the best games came out. When Xbox and Sony were super competitive with each other.
Well, that's how you always get something.
So if Xbox can start catching up with Sony, and maybe keeping it competitive, keep sales in line, and then they'll just battle over some exclusives, we'll really get the most innovation. If Sony runs away with this console like they're doing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be good games, but I mean, it's not going to be the same because there's not going to be the need for it.
Right, and you're 100% correct on that. I just I'm looking forward to it. I really feel like with all this that's happening, like, man, I'm telling you what, I'm going to bet next year Microsoft's going to have to turn it up to a ridiculous level.
Yeah, I mean, next year's E3. You really have to expect a lot from Microsoft.
Yeah.
If they don't come out with a big presentation, they've dug their own grave.
Because
they had a good presentation this year to follow their terrible one last year.
Yeah.
But I mean, the problem is, their good presentation wasn't enough. Nintendo and Sony both had awesome presentation.
Right, and I really feel like next year they're going to come out swinging. I hope for their sake they do. Yeah. And I really feel like there's potential if they can get the signature on some of these games to do not maybe just exclusive, but just being able to show the trailer.
Yeah, plus, I mean, if they can do like what Sony's doing right now and get exclusive features and exclusive content.
And that seems to be the way everything's going.
Because Sony is killing it right now. They got exclusive stuff on Far Cry, exclusive stuff on Destiny. So if Microsoft can start getting some of that back and really drive more competition, then I mean we'll see more innovation.
Yeah, so. I'm definitely going to go with. So my biggest surprise, my vote's going to go to the Zelda game.
My biggest surprise is Grim Fandango because I mean you haven't heard anything from that game in years,
right?
And then all of a sudden an HD remaster is coming out. So I mean because that was just a complete. Fucking what the hell?
Out of left field. Yeah, okay, we're gonna do that.
Yeah,
cool.
So I mean that'll be cool. It'll also be cool seeing how the controls work on a console. So I'll be curious. I'll definitely download that when it comes out. So.
Right on. All right, so we got our biggest surprise out the way. So let's go ahead and get ready for this. So with the biggest surprise, there's always the biggest letdown.
Yeah.
We unanimously agreed on this.
It's Fallout 4 not being at E3.
I feel like had there not been that typo,
because and this is not a slight against Bethesda.
No,
they're coming out with awesome shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
The titles they are releasing look badass. You got the Elder Scrolls Online, obviously. Right. I think we both did betas for that.
Yeah,
it's really good. What was Battle Cry?
Yep, that looks
really good. But
that was the game that we all thought was going to be.
Yeah, they said a previously unannounced title. Everybody thought it was Fallout 4. It was Battle Cry.
Well, it had been announced. Like I said, I think it was a typo or something is what I read. Yeah. There was a typo and they said previously unannounced and they weren't supposed to say that.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously that Fallout 3, I think, is my pick for last generation's best game.
And you would be absolutely correct. And I would almost argue with you with how many hours I fucking put into Oblivion.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of good games, good RPGs. I mean, Mass Effect 2 was definitely candidate. Fallout 3, I put almost 500 hours into that game.
And it's not hard to do that. I know even if that sounds crazy, it's not hard to do.
It's not hard to do because you can play that game for years.
Yeah, and it's just it's amazing. It's timeless.
Everybody's... There was that whole hoax earlier.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, with the
website.
With the potential announcement of Fallout 4, got everybody's hopes up.
Somebody went way out of their way to fuck with people.
Somebody went way out of their way just to troll Fallout 4.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And then so that was a letdown. And then this E3, they came up, previously unannounced title from Bethesda. Okay, this is Fallout for sure.
It's gotta be, yeah.
It was not Fallout. I mean, we all know that game is in the works.
Yeah, it's definitely being developed. It's got to be.
So, my hope is that it'll be announced before next year's E3. If not, we definitely will see it. But I was really hoping for Fallout 4 this E3, and that was a big letdown not seeing that.
I mean, but seriously, though, it's one of those things that where I'm really hoping that the longer we wait, the sweeter it's going to be.
I hope so.
The better it's going to be.
I mean, I have I have nothing but faith in Bethesda.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because they do what they do and they do it very well.
Yeah.
And like I said, I would be very happy. I mean, what the rumor was is it was going to be shot through Boston, wasn't it? Like,
Boston, I think, would be the central location in the New England area.
Right.
Because they had registered several trademarks and licenses in that area. So,
and since they haven't released it, they're doing this years in advance before the game comes out.
Oh, yeah.
So that's just like, I mean, you can't really be mad at these guys.
Yeah. So, I mean, so that was definitely a big letdown. My other big letdown that I had was Sony not detailing more about their Project Morpheus.
Yeah, that was kind of a bummer.
If you don't know about Project Morpheus, it's a lot like the Oculus Rift. It's not a lot, it's the same thing as the Oculus Rift.
It's the Oculus
Rift. Just made by Sony, which Sony has a knack for hardware.
Yeah.
They, every time, the PlayStation Eye is an amazing piece of machinery.
Yep.
Just the DualShock controller.
Yep.
I think we can all agree that this generation, the DualShock is the best controller of the three main players.
Reveal what that light was for on the back too.
When they came out with the PlayStation Move and improved what the Wii did, they did true one-to-one movement. I mean, Sony has a knack for hardware, so when they announced previously that they were doing this Project Morpheus, sort of, strap a screen to your face, basically play virtual reality, is that you think, okay, it's gonna be better than the Oculus Rift, hopefully.
Oh yeah, I would hope so.
And with Sony's money and their knack for hardware, it's going to be amazing. So, I mean, at their press conference, they mentioned, all they said was, this is still coming out, we have a couple new demos for it. And that was all they talked about. So that was a letdown for me, because I was hoping to hear really more details about maybe its processing capabilities, some titles that are coming out for it, things like that, maybe a potential release date. But
well, you know who their competition now is, right?
What's that?
The Oculus Rift. You know who owns them now? Whose money they're competing against? Sony's competing against Facebook's money.
That's
Facebook owns the Oculus Rift now.
That's right.
For some fucking reason.
So if you're gonna invest in an Oculus Rift, don't get ready for a lot of ads, right?
Yeah, get ready for a lot of game requests.
Yeah,
a lot of game requests,
invites, ads.
But whatever.
So that was definitely a big letdown. I think Fallout 4 and the lack of information on Project Morpheus.
Yeah, but I definitely agree too. And I mean, I couldn't pick between the two of those because.
Yeah,
I mean, I almost want to say Fallout.
I would say Fallout 4 is a bigger letdown because at least the Project Morpheus was mentioned.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, I mean, this was half-ass mentioned. I mean, if you want to just I mean, we're never good. Yeah.
Fallout 4, the only mention it got is that Bethesda said our new game is not Fallout 4.
Yeah, which and they came right out with it. Yeah, they were just like, yeah, no, it's not here, and everybody went, oh. Yeah, and I was like, I can't imagine.
Which the thing I worry about is a bunch of dumb gamers will probably be like, oh, well, since it's not Fallout 4, Battlecry sucks. But Battlecry, don't sleep on that game. It's gonna be good.
It's Bethesda. Like I said, those guys. I mean, honestly, at this point, Bethesda has done so much awesome stuff. They could shit in a box and I'd buy it. Like, I mean, it is what it is.
That's just you, man.
Is that just me? Is that just me? Yeah. Well. I can take a crap in a box and market guaranteed. No.
Yeah.
So, all right, biggest letdown. Yeah, thanks. So let's go with best sequel now. There's a few in this.
Best sequel. Most games are sequels.
This is true. That's science.
I'm gonna go with. There was a lot of sequels. One we didn't talk about yet was Tomb Raider.
Yeah. That's the reason for that.
I mean, the last Tomb Raider was really good. It was like...
Yeah, it was actually really decent.
It was Uncharted level good. Yeah. I mean, it was definitely had that cinematic quality, high action intensity. The thing, though, is the name. Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
That's a terrible name.
It's like Rise of the Guardians.
Yeah.
But with Lara Croft. Yeah. It's going to be awesome.
So, that's one we didn't talk about, but it still looks cool despite the name.
I can't latch on.
I mean, what else you got? You got Halo, Fable, Smash Brothers, Zelda,
Dead Island, Metal Gear,
Metal Gear, Doom, Mass Effect, Battlefront, Mortal Kombat, Uncharted. I mean, it's Assassin's Creed. It's hard to.
You're sounding like the Nintendo press conference. Yeah, that's what it was like.
That's what. Basically, that's the Nintendo press conference. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to pick what would be the best sequel.
Right.
I mean. The one I would be most excited for is Mass Effect 4, because that series is really close to me.
Yeah.
played the fuck out of all of those games. But they didn't. I mean, they didn't show anything.
Yeah, you're right. No, they didn't.
We really can't really speak that much other than it's coming out soon.
I'm going to. I'd definitely throw my hat in for Metal Gear 5. I've always loved Metal Gear. I am a huge Metal Gear fan, and I really think that it's definitely going to be the one that really sets the bar. Yeah. And I mean, all of them are good. I mean, some of them are a little more interesting than others, but I'm not eating snakes in this one, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm all about that.
No, snake eater.
Snake eater, yeah. Yeah, that's my vote.
I am going to go with Far Cry 4.
Man, really tearing up your votes, man. Like, are you going to get it? Are you going to get that game?
Yeah, most likely. Probably going to need to build a new PC first, but yeah. I mean, it's just because as far as the sequels we did see, it had the most footage. I mean, it was right there with Destiny and Assassin's Creed as you almost saw the whole game at the show. I mean, you got a really hands-on. It's because these games are all coming out this year. So Far Cry 4, there was so much we saw on it, and it's so detailed. So I mean, and usually I'm not a big shooter, but I do like that open world, figure things out your own way kind of shooter. So I mean, Far Cry is always good for me, but yeah, Far Cry 4 was really, really impressive. So it's gonna get best shooter and best sequel for me, I think.
I was sold at riding elephants. I don't know why that just blew.
I was sold on that fucking view distance.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely impressive too. I don't want to take away from that. It's just like, man, like homeboy goes and rides an elephant into battle, then takes a car like for no reason. Yeah. Like he takes a Jeep and then wrecks it immediately, but you know, whatever.
Whatever, dude.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting to watch that. I agree. That's definitely there, but so we'll go Metal Gear and then we'll go Far Cry 4.
Yeah, I think I mean, they both look pretty awesome.
Oh, they both look solid. Yeah. So now we're gonna go to funniest moment because there were a few funny moments.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm gonna give. Well, let's just go ahead and both agree right now, because you're going to have to pull that up, because I don't remember what that's called.
We're going to need to get specifically
reference
what this is called.
I'm going to go ahead and just try to wing it real quick and see.
Go ahead.
It's going to be, let's see.
But I think we can agree the funniest moment was Capcom poking fun at themselves for the name they are giving the new Dead Rising DLC, which is along the lines of Ultra Super Dead Rising Mega
Alpha
XF Alpha. It is the longest title. It is, but I mean, if you're familiar with the Street Fighter titles and Guilty Gear titles, they get ridiculous with the Super HD Ultra. Yeah, go ahead and.
Is this it right here?
Yeah, so Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Arcade Remix Hyper Edition EX Plus Alpha is the name of the DLC pack.
Like, it's just so ridiculous.
That is without a doubt the funniest moment is either that name, which once again,
it's fantastic.
Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Arcade Remix Hyper Edition EX Plus Alpha is the name. That's the name.
That's literally what you buy.
That is definitely, that's probably the funniest. Or in Real Masters. The trailer from Real Masters, which again that fishing game we were talking about earlier, is not just the whole trailer is fucking astoundingly hilarious.
It's ridiculous.
Without trying to be.
Yes, I think they were really trying to do something.
It is like Wicker Man level of funny. Like, it's not trying to be funny, but it is hilarious.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous just how serious they try to take
that moment when he pulls the fish out of the water, when the fish comes out of the water, that is the funniest moment of E3.
I think the beautiful moment, like the beautiful music, and then just right into that shitty fucking banjo music is amazing.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, and even like the Dead Rising 3 DLC, because I'm going to try to like derail that as fast as possible before we talk about that forever. The Dead Rising 3 DLC is actually really cool. If you pay close attention, there's a lot of homage to Capcom's 31st anniversary, which is coming up. There's just that there's a lot of surprises. There's like a giant zombie M. Bison, which is a boss. I don't know if you caught that.
I did not.
Yeah. He's like just this massive dude, and there's just a lot of, and like one of the things they say you can do is you can cosplay as your favorite Capcom character.
Yeah.
So obviously they didn't show us everything they had in there. But there's some really ridiculous Capcom characters they allow you to be. I think one of them that you can be is like Chun-Li and just like a bunch of really goofy stuff. So it definitely looks like it's awesome, and it looks like Capcom can take a joke, obviously.
Yeah.
So, and that in itself says a lot about that company. So
yeah,
definitely awesome.
Yeah, that's just an amazing title.
Yeah.
If we had a best title award,
yeah, it would.
The Dead Rising would win that one.
Fuck it, this is our podcast. We have a best title award.
You know what? Best title award: Dead Rising. No, sorry, Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Arcade Remix Hyper Edition EX Plus Alpha.
That's right.
Best title of E3.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Man, I really wish they were.
I mean, personally, I'm waiting for the HD remix. So
that would be 10.
Yeah.
It's so terrible.
I mean, I probably won't jump on this first one. I'll wait for the HD release.
All right. Okay. Good. I'll let you know how this one is then. And so let's go ahead and jump down to hardware, and we'll get ready to wrap it up.
Yeah.
So the hardware, obviously, I want to let you go on about the PS TV.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can pull up to on it real quick while you just kind of talk about it.
Yeah, so, I mean, one of the more interesting things that took up a lot of time at Sony's press conference is their push for innovation rather than just releasing games, is that they're coming out with PlayStation Now and PlayStation TV, which are, one is a new service, one is a new piece of hardware. So PlayStation TV, we'll talk about PlayStation Now first. PlayStation Now is going to be a new subscription-based service that will allow you to play Sony's back catalog of games. So they announced that on its initial release, it is going to have roughly 100 PS3 games available that you can play without actually owning the games. So you're gonna, if you have the PlayStation Now service, you can play 100 PS3 games, and their goal is to expand that to thousands of PS3, PS2, and PS1 games from their back catalog, including games that maybe didn't get an American release.
Right, which is amazing for people who play JRPGs.
So yeah, if you were in part of that, really, that late 90s PS1 JRPG phenomenon, hopefully those games will be available just soon to stream on PlayStation Now.
I'm crazy excited about that.
What the PlayStation TV will allow you to do is also use that service with it, but if you own a PS4, you can hook this PlayStation TV up to any other TV. It's going to be a lot like sort of the Apple TV or the Chrome TV thing, where it's going to be just a small little box attachment you put in your TV that allows you to use the service. And this is going to allow you to use your PlayStation 4 games in another room, as well as the PlayStation Now service and the PlayStation Network services. So
that's definitely
it's definitely some really interesting hardware that they're coming up with. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be a cool deal, and I feel like anybody who didn't get this is a really good chance for a whole new generations, like the ones that are growing up playing Minecraft and stuff right now, which that's their Mario,
Yeah.
It's a good chance for them to actually get to experience some of the stuff that I got to play when I was younger, too.
You have to play, what is it, Legend of Dragoon.
Oh, wow.
Final Fantasy VII.
There you go. I was thinking if I could...
And best PlayStation 1 game of all time, Monster Rancher 2.
Jesus, that game.
So good.
I was going with Oddworld, actually. Exodus. That was pretty fun. I remember that.
But as long as they put Monster Rancher 2 on...
You're definitely going to be in it. All right.
Well, also, one of the best features, you can get PlayStation Now on your own, just separately, if you want to. If you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, which, if you have a PlayStation, you're generally going to be a PlayStation Plus subscriber.
One would only
it's $40 a year for a shitload of free games, discounts, blah, blah, blah.
Stuff,
So if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, PlayStation Now is actually free. So you're going to have access to this huge back catalog of games eventually.
Yeah,
and no additional cost to your PlayStation Plus subscription.
It's just already, that's amazing, man. That's a good deal. Yeah, I mean,
and for PlayStation Now, you don't even need to own a PS3 or PS4. If you have a Sony Bravia TV...
That's right, I forgot, that's awesome.
And a DualShock controller, you can use PlayStation Now. So, I mean, that's where Sony was really trying to focus their attention for their press conference, was really what they're innovating with indie games and hardware. I mean, they had their AAA titles, their big, blockbuster games, but it was really more of a focus on the future and social gaming and the services they can provide for you. So that was definitely a good bit of hardware. And I think another really interesting piece of hardware that Nintendo is introducing, we touched on a little bit earlier, is the Amiibo.
Amiibo is going to be... It's going to be the thing that I think picks Nintendo back up again. They're really... And speaking as somebody who's had to buy these Skylander things for people...
Yeah.
Might have a nephew that enjoys it. Dude, that is a cash cow.
Oh, yeah.
They were flying off the shelves. Like, it's ridiculous. And now Nintendo's also kind of taking that same route. And it's really cool because they've got a slew of games they're hoping to incorporate it with.
Yeah.
Obviously, the first one's going to be Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
they've planned that.
The big one, yeah.
Then they're talking about Mario Kart 8. They're going to work it into that somehow.
Yeah, probably like a patch or something.
Something like that. Or they were going to release if they released a Luigi Death Stare one, I would buy that so fast. And then Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which our aforementioned, don't know why it's a game, but it is.
Toad has his own game.
Yeah,
now, so.
and apparently it's going to be compatible with the Amiibo, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Mario Party 10, another awesome title just in general. Mario Party is a staple.
Which again has that whole Fable and Evolve.
Correct. Yeah, which that was a thing for some. We should put all of those trailers back to back to back.
Yeah,
just so everybody can see them.
That's the new trend.
Yoshi's Woolly World, which. Oddly enough, I really felt like Nintendo was trying to kind of knock on the same door twice with Kirby's Epic Yarn and then moving to Woolly World.
Which is, again, a yarn game.
Yeah, it is. I mean...
This one looks
who the hell do they think they're fooling, really, though? I mean, like, yarn and then wool. Like, they're not... Yeah, but it does look different. It looks drastically different.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty more polished game.
Yeah, and... Although Bobby brought a good point to the table when we were watching it, the game will likely annoy the piss out of you if you can't handle Yoshi sounds.
Watching a 3-minute trailer, the noises that Yoshi was making was already getting on my nerves.
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Now these Amiibos, they did demo how it's going to work in Smash Brothers.
Yep.
About throwing characters in a battle.
Yep.
We don't know exactly how it's going to work yet with the Toad game. With the new Yoshi Woolly World game, but. It'll be interesting to see how they work that in. I mean, I have some guesses how they could do it with Mario Kart. Maybe add new characters in that are not in the game right now. You could throw them in, maybe throw in a Pikachu or something.
Man, that'd be sweet.
Throw in something, but
that's what they've got announced so far, character-wise.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how they add this into many of their games rather than just Mario Party and Smash Brothers.
Right. And I'll go ahead and I'll try to cut in a thing right here so you can see some of the different characters. Like they've got Marth, Yoshi. Link, Zelda, Star Fox. I mean, just like
Donkey
your
Kong
classics. Yeah, and apparently that's the new
the fitness trainer.
Yeah,
from Wii Sports
because that was a necessity. Yeah, that's a necessity. But yeah, so that's just a few right off the bat. Mario, of course, which is the one they demo. One of the cool things I really like about this is that you're going to be able to adjust their stats. You can increase their attack, their defense. You can teach them different moves. So, like, each character has the capability, I think, if you watch the trailer, of learning, like, 30-something different, like... Yeah. You have 30 things to pick from, or something like that? I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I mean, if you're familiar at all with the general way RPGs go, you're gonna, your Amiibos, you will have the ability to level them up.
Yep.
Choose which stats to level up. And then as they level up, they're going to gain new abilities. So maybe, let's say, when you first get Mario and you throw him into Super Smash Brothers or something, first go around, level 1, maybe he's not going to have that much.
Right.
But then maybe, you get him up to level 50, 60, whatever the cap would be.
Right.
You have all these abilities, and you're just an unstoppable force.
So I feel like we should go ahead and call this now, too. Pokemon.
Yeah.
Pokemon, I am going to go ahead and... I'm going to say it. They're going to make some of these for the Pokemon.
Oh, absolutely.
They have to.
Yeah, I mean, the system is almost built for Pokemon.
Yeah, like, it's just going to be... and I'm excited for that, too.
I mean, it's almost like you will have the ability to treat Nintendo characters as if they are Pokemon. Like, you'll be able to treat Link and Mario like they are Pokemon.
Summon them.
Yeah, summon them, level them up, give them new abilities.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea.
So,
I think it's unique.
It's going to be really interesting, yeah.
So that's definitely on the list. Do you have anything else you want to add, or
no? I mean, I think those are really the big things to touch on hardware-wise is PlayStation's new services and Nintendo's Amiibos.
Yeah,
They are really the big show stealers as far as hardware.
And Rapala Bass Fishing Masters.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So right on. I guess that's going to be that's a wrap on that then.
Yeah.
Right on. So hopefully we'll be doing something like this again soon. Yeah.
Game of the show.
Oh shit! Game of the show.
Game of the show.
Best game and best game.
Best game.
Rapala Bass.
It's got to be real fishing.
Yeah.
Fish challenge, without a doubt.
I'm definitely going to give my vote for best game. Let's see. What do I have here? Okay. So this is a one-name game. I didn't really want to throw a lot in the hat on this, but what do you have one in mind, or do you have?
I have a few in mind.
Okay, let me hear what you got.
I really didn't want to give it to any of the teasers.
Yeah.
Even though I think some of the ones we got teasers for could end up being the best games that were shown at
Potentially, yeah.
So I think what they do with it, Mass Effect 4 could end up being the best game that comes out from this E3. But as far as ones I wanted to really see a lot of footage from, Destiny is in there.
Yep.
Far Cry 4 is in there. Assassin's Creed is in there. That's probably about it. I would maybe throw the order in there, but I would. It really comes down to Destiny and Far Cry 4 for me, just because of how much we saw, rather than just maybe seeing a snippet of gameplay.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw almost all the mechanics
Yep.
of how those games work. I am probably gonna go with Far Cry 4.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I don't think it will end up being the best game.
Yeah.
Out of every game that was shown, every game that was announced, but as far as the games that they had footage on that we really experienced and saw just what you could do with the game, Far Cry 4 takes it for me, I think.
Man, I was really torn between doing Destiny and then Metal Gear 5.
Yeah.
And I really, as much as I want to pick Metal Gear 5, Destiny was really, they're really selling that to me.
Yeah.
Very well, too.
I think the general consensus is Destiny is one of those games that stole the show.
Yeah, yeah.
They really showed you everything they have to offer. Which I agree that Metal Gear Solid 5 is going to be awesome. Yeah. It's going to be an amazing game, but all we got was a cinematic.
Right.
We didn't see any gameplay, and even if we did, we didn't see any new innovative, new gameplay features new to that series.
Right.
So, just Destiny and Far Cry 4, really the amount of content that they showed.
Yeah, they really, and again, not that I don't have faith in Metal Gear at all, and I definitely do, trust me, and I will be investing in it.
Oh, yeah.
Destiny it's continually blown me away, like everything I've seen from it, so I'm definitely going to go with Destiny as my pick for...
Yeah, and that...
Steals the show.
It was tough for me between Destiny and Far Cry 4, but I'd probably go with Far Cry 4, just because Crytek has never let me down.
And you ride the elephant.
Yeah, riding an elephant.
I'm telling you, that's really a selling point.
And really, in all likelihood, I'll either get it for PC or PS4.
Yeah.
That feature they have on PS4.
Yeah, that's actually really cool.
Your co-op players can just jump in without owning the game. That is amazing. I really don't know how that works technically.
You're probably going to have to download some kind of patch. Some kind of digital patch, I would assume, that lets you get into it.
However it works, that is a game-changing feature.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see that a lot more in games that are coming out.
That's definitely going to be cool. And if they do decide to go that route, then holy shit, there are the PS4 sales up all the way again.
Yeah.
And then that would definitely be interesting to see Microsoft's move after that.
Yeah.
Because
if Microsoft can implement a feature like that, which I don't know if that's something that takes advantage of PS4 hardware, or if that's just something that they can write into the game. I'm not sure how that works at all.
I don't know. If it's something they can write into the game, I'm pretty damn sure Microsoft wouldn't want people to know about that. Sony's always been a juggernaut. Microsoft's always a juggernaut. But just recently, Microsoft's got so much flack.
They've really been slipping on the, I guess you could say, customer service.
Customer service aspect.
Really giving the gamers what they want and deserve.
Yeah, and here's the thing: you have to bend their arm backwards to get it.
Yeah, I mean, you figure you're paying a company this much money. You know, you're paying hundreds of dollars for your console. You're paying $60 for every game. You're paying usually $50 to $80 for each piece of hardware you buy, whether it's controllers or headsets, things like that.
Right.
I mean, you're investing so much of your own time and money into these companies that when a company does things like Sony's doing, you really feel like, hey, this was worth my investment.
Right.
And then when Microsoft sort of does some of the strategy they tried, I mean, they changed a lot of the things they're doing because of how much flack they got for it.
Right.
But you really lose a lot of customers.
And it's always going to come down to it too. I mean, like I always feel like Nintendo's taking good care of their their customers, their fans. They're very loyal fans.
Yeah, Nintendo definitely has the most loyal,
fan base,
hardcore fan base. And the thing it looks like they're starting to do and really making an attempt at is taking back that casual gamer.
Yeah.
Because in the 90s as a gamer, it was the Super Nintendo.
Yep.
Was the console of that generation.
Absolutely.
The N64 was the console of that generation.
Yeah, blew everyone away.
It was the regular Nintendo.
Yeah.
The first Nintendo. I mean,
that's the one
because it was the casual gamer.
Yeah.
It was that's what the Wii did also.
Yeah.
And so I mean that really started to slip for them when they released the Wii U, but it looks like with the announcement of 2 Zelda games, Smash Brothers, Star Fox, basically every one of their titles. They're trying to take back that casual gamer.
And again, they were really trying to make an effort to focus on core gamers.
Yeah.
That was what the big thing is. They really wanted the same kind of gamers that they had with the GameCube.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of third-party developers. And that was the big talk-up of the Wii U, is you're going to have this third-party development team. They're going to make all these games, and it's going to be this like wonderful library.
Yeah.
And not just your Mario. Or hell, you could put Mario and Tekken. Or, I mean, there was supposed to be all this crazy stuff, and it just never happened.
Yeah.
And I really feel like, I mean, hell, I'd shut up. I won't bitch about it if you give me a Zelda game. Like, I really won't. Like, that's the end of it. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Guess that's not happening. At least give me the stuff you guys know you do well and consistently do well. So, do you have anything else you want to tack on? Or?
No, I think that's it.
No? All right. Right on.
I think we pretty much covered a lot of the talking points I wanted to talk about. Let me see if I got anything else in my notes here. Did we talk about No Man's Sky? Yeah, we did.
We did briefly, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we missed some stuff, but I mean...
E3 was a big conference. I mean, we can't make this video last like 6 hours, so...
Yeah, seriously, if like, like going on 100 minutes isn't enough for you guys, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that's going to be the end of the first episode. First podcast of Two Dudes and Some Brews.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we do that again.
Yeah, definitely would be cool. If you guys have any suggestions, that'd be awesome. Let me know. If you want to see any specific content, web content, videos, let me know. Or, whatever. So.
Or, if there's another topic, maybe.
Yeah, maybe something we didn't hit.
Maybe even if it's relating to this episode, if there's something big at E3 you thought we missed.
Then let us know.
Let us know.
We'll definitely touch it next time. I'll touch it.
Yeah.
We're going to go touch it.
Let's touch it. I mean, we'll be gentle, but we'll touch it.
No, we're not going to be gentle.
Okay. Go and try.